Hello YouTube and Ytpc. Better blinking outside of the urban bunker. As you can hear, the natives are once again restless. So, what brings me here? Or more importantly, what brings me in front of the camera again? Well, as some of you may know, or many of you may know, Typing Piper and Gribbly have started a bitch off, or griping, or whatever you want to call it. And what I thought was, or actually what I saw, was the subject of depression coming up a lot. Both Typing Paper and Gribbly both deal with it. Many of us, in fact, deal with it at some level. I, of course, deal with it daily, sometimes hourly, and often half-hourly. It is something lately that has been some concern. Attempting to smoke a Ytpc blend that doesn't really want to be sipped on, so we'll put that aside. One thing that I wanted to mention was that some of you may have seen my previous video where I was discussing how my inability to operate in regular interactions has caused me to go online looking for some type of connection. Well, needless to say, it may not be the best idea for someone that doesn't really have a regular healthy income, but I am finding a slight comfort in that, dealing with just one person, talking to them, knowing that they willingly want to talk back. Sure, it is part of their meager income, but they still do interact. And apparently I'm going way off track with this video already. Okay, depression, whether it be due to a social anxiety making depression worse, or whether it be a medical issue that you might have making it worse, physical issue making it worse, things like that. The trick, or at least I'm finding the trick to deal with it, is finding camaraderie. As many of you might be aware, I have scaled back on the number of videos that I put out, and a lot of that is due to being too depressed to do anything. Some of that is like now, the neighborhood noise is too great. Many times when it's this noisy or worse, I'll stay holed up inside. Many times when there's complications in whatever routine that I have, I will stay holed up inside. So routine does influence, at least in my experience, it does influence the depression. I know for someone like Gribbly, for example, his daily routine is getting into nature, whether it be for getting pictures taken or simply going fishing. Of course, with the weather cooling down up there, I'm sure that fishing is over, but there is just getting into nature and being around that stillness of it. One of the things that I can somewhat get behind is the way that Tapping Piper feels. He will go through whatever needs to be done and then find himself without energy or the motivation to do what would normally please him, or normally he would want to do. And that is a large part of it. There are times when I, for various reasons, but I take a look at what is to be done in a day and then break it down into, is this going to affect anything else? Whereas I'm upstairs, so I would have to go down the stairs out of the building and then do whatever, and then manage to get back up the stairs. And if it's a day that I have to pick up my daughter from the school bus, I would have to again go down and up the stairs. So if there is running around that needs to be done, normally I will scale back what that running around is, so I spend less time on my feet than I would have to. Or some days that is especially bad, I will omit things altogether. And I think that actually, at some level, increases the depression. Because then you know what needed to be done, you know what you should have done, but you didn't do it. And, on top of all that, there is the voice in the back of your head that says you could have done it, You know you should have, but the fact that you didn't means that it wasn't important enough. So why is it that you're not seeing importance in something that you know is important? I know many of us don't really share as far as emotions go in the Ytpc, myself included. I normally just watch, sometimes comment, sometimes jokingly comment, but I do try and let others know that at least the video that they took time to create did get seen. Normally when I sit out here, I'm usually enjoying a pipe. Usually during the week it's not this noisy because school is in, but I do sit here and watch the local bird life circle around in the field above the tree lines. And right now there's a hawk that is circling. Although he lowered, so I wouldn't be able to show him. I apologize for the noise again. It's actually downstairs that is making it. I'm glad for that because normally it's upstairs a few doors down from me. Which brings me to the bitchfest. Well, as many of you may have caught on, whether it be through Instagram or watching my videos here, I live in a low-income HUD housing project. And what it seems like is that whatever powers that be only want there to be a lower class and a high class. Any middle class has been either broken down to end up in lower class or through some fluke made it to the higher class. Anyone that here has gotten an income, like I recently have, goes through a interrogation of what their rent should be. And I went through, actually I haven't gotten a definite answer on what my rent will be, but I was told because I have 2 bank accounts on file that I'm not being honest. Well, the one bank account I hadn't used since 2017. No money going in, no money there to take out. And they closed it because of non-use. So, after telling the apartment manager about that, she wants written proof. Well, they can't give written proof because it was 2017. They don't even have a date on file of when it got closed because it was so long ago. So I called them. They told me that. I told the manager. She didn't believe me. I had to call back, be on hold for almost an hour with the manager. We both explained the situation to the customer service. They put me on hold, put me back in queue, and then I ended up with another person, person 3. And then the third person told the manager exactly what I told her 2 days before when I called. So it's almost like if you get any bit ahead of where you are, they want to push you back down. And going with that, there is the frustration of I do still rely on my cousin to get to where I need to get to, whether it be groceries or a VA appointment, medical imaging that I had done a few days ago. She had to take me to that, an hour and a half one way, and then back home. So now we're looking into if my license is able to be unsuspended and find another vehicle. The vehicle that I originally sold her had some problems, and about $300 will repair it. Her and her boyfriend would do the repairs, and that would give me a vehicle. Or I can go the route of buying a previously owned vehicle, slightly older than new, and give me something more reliable. There is also the issue of where I live. And she is living not much better than I am. She is living with her daughter, her boyfriend, her 2 animals, and 2 other family members in a travel trailer. So she's looking to rent a place that's big enough for all of her needs, plus have enough room for me to move in. One of the greatest problems with depression is the change. You get used to a routine, and regardless of if the change is better or worse, the change wreaks havoc on the depression, because you don't know the outcome 100%. So this is my attempt at the addition to the Ytpc bitching, complaining, griping, group hug, whatever you want to call it. Hope everyone's doing good. Those that are north of Florida, I hope you aren't freezing. And keep your eyes on the horizon. Don't forget to watch your six.